Welcome to Mining Now, and we're live from CIM Connect from the trade show floor in Montreal, Canada. My name's Roy Slack, and I'm your host, and I'm very pleased to be speaking with Sam Durnovich and Frank Harris from Polydeck, and we've been talking a little bit before the show, so I'm really interested to get this show on the road. So thanks for joining us, guys.
Oh,
Thank you.
love being here. We're excited.
So I'll start out with Sam, and I always like to find out a little bit about background of our guests. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up with Polydeck.
Sure. I'm a mining and minerals engineer from Virginia Tech. I graduated in '02. I'm aging myself. This is a long time ago.
Yeah, that's not that long ago.
And I went to operations and was a plant engineer and did some upgrades and actually upgraded a plant in Colorado where I live and got them going from 800 ton an hour to 1,000 ton an hour just by upgrading with Polydeck. So about a year later, a guy found me that I bought all this stuff from and was like, "Hey man, you kind of got it. You interested in working for Polydeck?" And I was like, "Nah, man, I'm good. I don't want to do sales." And then he kept badgering me or kept asking me about it. And finally, I was like, "All right, I'll give it a whirl." And that was 18 years ago. So now I've been with Polydeck 18 years. And so at Polydeck, I do sales, but I'm a senior application engineer. And I support a lot of our sales guys. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to travel all over the world. We've gone to Indonesia, Suriname, Peru, Chile. I was just in Brazil, and Africa this year. So I've seen a lot of plants and helped a lot of people with our product. So it's been really, really fun. I enjoy it.
I think that's important, and sometimes people don't realize that the breadth of your clientele allows you to see all kinds of different things, some best practices, some not so good practices, but that experience has got to be very beneficial to your customers.
Absolutely. And I think the other cool thing is we're not just hard rock mining. We do coal preparation, we do construction aggregate, and we've been able to cross-pollinate technology from all those places and implement that for what you just described as best practices.
Great. Sounds good. Frank, tell us about yourself.
Yeah. Well, I want to comment on something Sam said, that he's not a salesperson, right? Like when we hired Sam out of the job he had before, I like the fact that we're not salespeople.
Yeah.
I like not being a classic type salesperson. We can go in with our products and actually help the operation and improve what's going on. And so I think that's really important. But I've been with Polydeck for over 20 years now. I started in mining about 30 years ago. So I have a lot of experience with movement of materials and separation, and I started basically on vibration and vibratory products. I was applications engineer and then came to Polydeck. And with Polydeck, I've been able to move more into specializing separations, which is what we do at Polydeck. So I've enjoyed it. I'm the director of mining sales for North America, really global, except for Latam. And there's 7 of us in our group. And so we're a small group, but we're very focused on helping the operation and doing process improvement.
Right. You hit on something there that I always thought about in my businesses was the best sales method is being able to add value
Right.
to your clientele. You mentioned like a 25% increase in throughput. That's huge for anyone that's looking at if there's a bottleneck in your operation and you can increase that throughput. That's a big deal.
No, you're dead on, man. And we have lots and lots of examples. And I think that's why we've been so successful is we deliver results and understand the results and can communicate that. Yeah. And then it's something that we can all implement together.
Yeah.
The people in the plants are very busy. They have a limited amount of time. And if you get a chance to go into the operation, you have to find a way to bring some kind of value. Because if I was running that operation, I don't have time just to have someone come show me a brochure or talk or whatever they're trying to do. I mean, you need to bring value if you're taking their time.
Well, we had long conversation the last couple of days. We've been hanging out here in Montreal, which is a wonderful city.
Yeah, I love it here.
Man, I love the restaurants and just walking around. But
I heard you guys might have loved it too much last night. Yeah.
We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it.
Anyway, we won't get into that.
Yeah. That's a different podcast.
That's right.
But the conversations that we've had have been about the youth and how we're now the older guys, and we actually are having to implement a bunch of training stuff because our young salespeople and engineers at our factory are we're having to do a lot more implementation just because I think mining as a whole, I'm doing so much more training now with mines than I used to do because people don't get taught the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of the screening now in school.
Wow.
It's more when you're in the field, you finally start learning this stuff, and we're seeing it more and more.
I key on this value add concept because you can compete just based on price. And if someone wants to buy the product for, $1,000 cheaper or whatever, but any price difference is nothing compared to the value you would add in increased throughput or in decreased downtime. Anyway,
No, you're dead on. No, and that's the
Yeah.
conversation we're having is training up these young people to understand the results and how do we communicate that to the customer with all these niche products that we developed over the last 20 years, 30 years,
I feel like I'm in an interview to get hired for you guys on your sales tip. No, that's not my intent.
All good.
But so let's talk a little bit more about Polydeck, because we've touched on a few things. Global company, that's for sure. Been in business for a while,
Over 40 years.
over 40 years. And without getting into detail right now, your product line, I mean, we know screens, but what's your main product lines?
Well, let's start with the ownership. I think a big part of Polydeck is that we are a one-owner company, and our owner is very passionate about the company, and he's very intimately involved. So when I first started with the company 23 years ago, I changed panels on a screen with our owner.
Okay.
I've been in the field. I've worked side by side with him, and so I think having that ownership and leadership that's intimately involved in helping the customer, and he's got his name out there. It's important. Everything that we do is geared toward caring for others. We have a large caring program in the company, but also outside the company. So I think that whole focus of caring for others and caring for the customer, that carries through and gives us the authority and the ability to go into an operation confident that if our product, something happens or whatever, then we're going to have the company behind us backing it up and making sure that we can fix it.
Well, what were we just doing in October? We were in Indonesia together, and we were helping an orphanage in Indonesia because they're part of the community, and they're having some issues over there. We're in the grocery store loading up trucks with groceries for an orphanage, and Polydeck is paying for that. 2% of our revenue goes to charity.
It's a huge part of the company and who we are and what we do. And again, I think that carries through to the customer because we feel like we go into an operation and we have an opportunity to help them with our products. And again, to me, it's not sales at that point. We're part of the operation, helping them. And you talked about reducing downtime, but we call it screen availability and also throughput. If you can, sometimes with our products, our type products, which it's a modular synthetic system, and people are focused a lot of times on longevity and trying to get the panels to last longer. But really, that's not the point of the equipment. The point of the equipment is to process the ore. And so if we can help them process the ore better, then really price goes away. Longevity really is not the goal, the main goal. And Sam was saying it earlier to someone that you start with the most efficiency that you can get out of the system, and then you back into wear life or longevity of the products, making them last longer. I had someone tell me many years ago that in mining, it's like caveman style, right? How you break something, you throw a rock at it, and that's what we do. Like this equipment, we're managing the decline of the equipment. And so that's what we do, and we do a really good job of it, and we become partners with the site to do that.
Well, and I think the wear life thing, yes, it is important, but we have we've been doing this so long that we have such a high baseline, and we understand wear rates. We understand how to set somebody's screen system up, for example, a sack discharge screen. We understand, hey, you're getting 2 to 3 weeks. If you put just these few upgrades in, we're talking 2-3 months now.
There's a couple things I want to unravel here because, we talk about leadership, and one of the key things is empathy. And you've talked about your owner and being a customer or working on the floor in mining, we say at the face or wherever in the plant, is one of the things that breeds that empathy. So you've got an understanding of what your customers are dealing with.
Yeah, and I would go back to what Sam was talking about in the way of training and trying to take the wisdom to the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
A big part of that is you're talking about you're calling it empathy, but understanding the operation and knowing what's going on inside the site, I think is a big part of that. Because if you don't really understand what they're trying to accomplish and you're just offering them some product, that's, again, not bringing value.
Well, how do you communicate that to the organization too? Because these organizations are huge sometimes. I mean, the one mine in Indonesia employs 13,000 people. I think they have 5,000 people at the 4 concentrators.
So that was something I was going to ask you,
Okay.
because in terms of how you deal with the customer, and listening's got to be a big part of it, because you can go in there and say, here's the right product for you. But like you said, if they're focused on reducing downtime, or they're focused on an increase in throughput, or maybe something else, if you're not listening, then
Right.
you might be offering the solution to the wrong problem.
My position has always been that I'm here to help you. If you let me, I'll help you. I'll do anything I can to help you. But if you don't want me to help you, then I'll get out of the way and I'll let somebody else help you. That's not a problem. And I think that honest, sincere.
Yeah.
I'm here to look at the operation and try to make things better. Once people get that, then it's a different conversation.
Well, and I think one of the takeaways that I've seen the last few years post-COVID, because we lost a lot of senior people with a lot of knowledge, is how do you quantify performance? Because people come to us and we make a sales call, or we go to see a customer, and they're like, oh, we want more tonnage. Well, what's the bottleneck of the system? Well, we think it's the screen. Well, how are we quantifying the performance of the screen?
Yeah.
Have you taken belt cuts on the pebble circuit? Are we sampling the feed to the pebble crusher out of the sag mill to actually see screen efficiency or misplaced material? And they're like, oh, so then we have to back up and be like, all right, we need to do a little 20-minute discussion on how to the sampling and where the samples need to be taken. And it's pretty interesting seeing that, I guess, this youth movement coming into the mining industry, and us having to walk through these steps with them.
So you're talking about customers, and so you would be dealing with someone, work together, figured out some things, and then that person moves.
Yes.
Is that what you're
yeah.
talking about?
Yes.
Because I know I've seen that movie too, but and so that's a challenge. It's an ongoing give and take, because you have to update people, but at the same time, they came from a different operation that might have had a different focus. So it's
100%.
not starting over, but it's
a little
sort
bit.
of,
Yeah, you're almost a historian at that point.
Right.
We did this one time, and
But I tell people, if someone's either working at a site or working in an operation, you can't be an expert at everything. And you shouldn't be. You shouldn't expect to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it were me and I'm running that operation, I want someone who's working with me to come in and help me get the benefits out of what they just sold me.
absolutely.
I think you have an obligation to do that.
Yeah.
So that's what we do.
well, we have so many reference points at this point. We've been doing this for a really long time, and we are super niche. All we focus on is synthetic screen media for mining screens.
So I had a question about differentiating, but I think I can answer that question now after listening to you guys on how the company differentiates from the rest of the market.
Well, we're ultra focused on screen media, and because it's the only thing we do and we're privately owned, I think one of the biggest differentiators is our people. We're a small group of people. If you call us, if you're not talking to the right person, we're one phone call away from the right person.
Yeah.
And we're all working together as a pretty small team. You call some of these other companies and try and get some answers about blinding issues on their sag pre-crush circuit that's in northern British Columbia, where there's ice and cold in winter. And these bigger companies are like, let me call this guy. Oh, let me talk to that guy. You call us, like he said, there's 7 of us in North America handling this stuff. And the amount of tooling that we have, that we've developed over the last 40-some years, is incredible. You should see our die list for all the screen panels we can make. I mean, what are we up to?
I think over 5,000.
Yeah.
So, but we have our own tool and die shop. So we create all our own tooling, which also gives us a big toolbox to reach back into. And Sam focuses on applications. And when we run into a new application, and every ore body is different. I mean, every location is going to be different. I've seen rock quarries share the same deposit, but yet deal with different situations on the screens.
Yeah.
So when we run across that, we can actually make the tooling that we need and create dies. And we create a lot of dies. He creates a lot of dies.
Yeah.
But we create a lot of dies for all the different applications. And that's another thing I think as a differentiator. What we do more and better than other people is we look at the actual application, and we will either select it from our large selection of tooling, or we'll create the tooling to deal with just that application.
And then to go on to that, we talked about this briefly before, but it never ends with just selling a product, right?
That's right.
Like, that's just the start.
Yeah, it's the support, and how do we follow up once you get it all set up? How do we continue upgrading and continue feeding you these parts that you need? So we have a factory in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and another factory in Santiago, Chile. And then we have a big DC network, we call it, which are distribution centers. I think we have 2 in Arizona. There's a bunch in North America.
6.
Peru,
Good.
starting one in Brazil. Yep.
Yeah.
We have the shortest lead time. If you order screen panels from us, standard lead time for urethane is 10 days. Standard lead time for rubber is 3 weeks.
Which is a huge strength. Our
You're talking-
manufacturing capabilities is a huge strength for us.
And that goes full circle, because we talked before about the experience you guys have. You've seen it all. Well, maybe you haven't seen it all. You've seen a lot of it and done a lot of it, right? And so engaging with the customers after the product is there is how you learn and how you improve.
Absolutely. No, it's continuous improvement. We tell our salespeople, always have a next step. And we've developed a lot of really cool products the last few years, particularly for mining. The ADS stuff is really, really groundbreaking, I think. We have a really cool system called Advanced Discharge Screen that goes on mill discharge. Could be a diamond mine scrubber, a SAG mill discharge, or an AG mill discharge. And we are literally doubling people's availability on their screens while maintaining throughput, which is the important thing.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about that earlier about the expense. It's not even, some people think of downtime as when something's broken down. But in your guys' business, downtime is planned maintenance,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
And what you're doing is you're extending the period
Significantly
between
now. Yeah.
planned maintenance.
Yeah.
So you can still plan it, but now you might have to do it twice a year instead of 4 times. I don't know the exact.
No. Those are
Yep.
some real metrics you just described. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of places are just trying to get another few days. Even.
Yeah.
We can just get another few days out of the screen. But yeah, so I think that's where we shine. We're able to look again at that specific situation and come up with a solution.
Well, and I think it even goes deeper than that. When we start talking to metallurgy and transfer size of the ball mills, and how do we balance these circuits, and how do we measure performance again for a pebble crushing circuit that's feeding a ball mill.
Yeah.
Just typical transfer size, or P80 for ball mill feeds, 1/2 inch, really common. We have like 30 dies in 1/2 inch. We have an incredible amount of tooling that nobody else has, literally.
No, and that's when someone says, send me a quote for 1/2 inch opening. It's like, well, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
It's not that easy.
The whole process, like I was going to say material handling, but that's not quite right. The material sizing, crushing, that whole process, there's a lot of energy involved. There's a lot of wear and tear. And so the screen is just part of that. But what I'm hearing, you guys understand not just the screen, but in a lot of cases, the system.
Oh, in all cases,
Absolutely.
we want to understand the whole system.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
the screen is really the lifeline. It literally bottlenecks the next stage, particularly in closed circuit. It literally bottlenecks the stage. So it's a huge part of it. Yeah.
And it's one of the most overlooked piece of equipment in the circuit when you start talking about the process, because a lot of people, if you look at mining schools, you guys went to mining schools, they don't really study it a lot because there's a little
You
bit
don't
of an
get to
art
those
to it.
details
So you
at
don't
all.
get into
Yeah.
detail with it. We
Sizing.
do, not to the
Really
extent
is,
we do in
Right.
because if I remember correctly, back, we had our slide rule. But I think it was just sizing was the only thing.
Yeah.
how do you match the sizing to the rest of the circuit? So we didn't think about wear or replacement or any of those things, but that's, like you said, your training, right?
Yeah, experience.
People
Being
don't
out in the
learn that
field.
stuff in
Yep.
school. You learn that in the real world.
Yeah. But we enjoy it, obviously. We enjoy getting involved with the operation. When I've went into places before, and I'm sure Sam's had this experience, they want you to sit down and just like either give them a quote or start talking about what to do. And I'm like, well, let's go look at it. Let's go look at the operation. I want to see it. And you start asking them, okay, how are you crushing? What's the conveyors? What are we doing here? How do we do this? Start getting details out of them. And sometimes they're surprised because you're getting that involved with the operation. But that's why. So we have a performance guarantee, right? So we guarantee everything we do that we'll hit specification and we'll replace it on our dime until it's right if it doesn't meet specification.
If you promised you a result.
And the only way we can do that and be successful at that is to understand the operation and make sure that what we're putting in there is going to succeed.
Yeah, if you promise something to sell it without understanding
Run.
Right.
everything
If
that's
someone does that,
involved,
run.
Right. Yeah, run away.
then,
Run away.
yeah, you've got problems.
But it happens all the time, right? Somebody buys motor oil or some type product and they pay more for it to get an additional benefit. But once they buy it, it's on them to make sure that it works or they get that value out
Well, you
of
read the
it.
fine print, and you didn't
Check
do this,
box
so
or supply this info.
your
Yeah.
guarantee
It's
is void.
actually unusual, I think, for a company like ours to have people stay with them through that experience and make sure that they're successful. I don't think a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the knowledge base you guys have. I mean, I could picture something happening, and well, I can call Frank or I can call Sam,
Oh yeah,
and if they don't know, they know somebody that
We're a
knows,
phone
right?
call away. We're a small
right.
group. And I think that's another differentiator. We do, we're privately held. How many people we have?
well, it's exemplified by the fact that we've been there. You've been there almost 20 years.
Yeah,
I've
you've
been
been there
there
23 years.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So people stay, and they stay for a reason because we're a tight group, we're a small group.
He said 18, and then when you said how long you were there, like he's a newbie, eh?
Yeah, he's a new guy.
He's only been there 18.
Yeah.
Which
No,
is-
it's funny because I remember when he started, and Sam probably remembers. When he started, I gave him all the
Oh, yeah.
information I had, like all these files, and
books,
folders,
yeah.
and and I think that's another unique thing about our company is people are willing to help each other. In some companies, especially in a sales group, there's a lot of competition and dog eat dog kind of. But we've not had that, and people are willing to help, and we love doing this so much that we love helping each other do it and learn and gain more. And in our group, especially in the mining group, I feel like we have a great team of people that all have different individual skills and abilities.
Yeah.
And when we work together, we can walk into any room and be successful. No one can match us.
there's nothing better than technical support to help your sales, right? Performance and technical support. I know as a customer, I mean, you can buy something, but the minute I have a problem and I call and nobody's there, I'm saying, well, time to start looking
Next.
for a new supplier.
Right.
Maybe that's a negative way of looking at it. right?
That's the reality, though, right?
That's just
yeah.
how it works.
Yeah. Mining is demanding. It's 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
You got to be there when they need you.
Very interesting discussion. Do you have anything to add before we close up?
What comes to mind?
Well, one thing we didn't talk about we always hammer is we have the highest open area system in the market, and it can help with throughput, but also help with, and we're in Canada, we have a lot of wet mines up here,
Yep.
cold mines, so there's a lot of frozen. That's probably the number one issue we see with helping
Frozen material?
commissioning plants is sticky, wet, cold ore these days, and the OEMs that are involved with selling a package to a customer, we're having to go in afterwards and salvage this thing. And I really wish we were more involved. And the problem is these big companies are selling a huge package. And so they're maybe cutting some corners here and there or putting some standard stuff out there.
Well, you've got to hit the price point. They're trying to keep the price point low.
Yeah, and
Which is understandable.
This is a problem that we're seeing pretty regularly on new screens getting commissioned in Canada. Like, I wish we were involved more.
And
They would not have these monster issues, and it's bad. Literally, I got a picture the other day of this dude in the chute, giant, like a jackleg drill, drilling the muck out of the chute.
Yep.
That's feeding a cone crusher. I'm like, oh my God, if they had just done this, this, and this would not have happened.
Yeah. But I'll add to that because we're delivering an engineered product, right? And a lot of the companies that do anything like we do don't have the amount of engineers on staff. We've got 7 engineers in the office working to design these things. And then most of our field people are engineers as well. So we are engineering the product for those applications and those situations. And I think that's a big difference. As the earlier, like Sam was saying, the earlier we can get involved in like a screen replacement, a project, a new project, the earlier we can get involved, the more we can help because we have all those tools and we have all the engineers on hand.
Well, we have the experience. The 2 issues for that example I was just giving is the support structure for the screen panels was all wrong. And the material science has come a long ways over the last 10 years or so. We have like 7 different rubbers that we can put on a rubber screen panel with one die. They had the wrong durometer, the wrong compound. I feel so bad for them. Yeah. Chipping hammers, bunch of, could have been all avoided.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in my business, we talk about early contractor involvement, is being involved in the early phases of engineering to make sure you've got the latest products, the best product for your application, the best approach. So I think we're talking about the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. You guys survived.
That was fun. Yeah, we did.
Made
Good
it.
job. Good job, Frankie. Good job.
Hey, that
Boom.
wasn't as much fun as last night, but we had
was.
fun.
Hey, the Nuggets won, baby. Woo!
And the
It was
Leafs.
just much fun.
I didn't. Yes. Did they?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he says. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great. I've been speaking with Sam Durnovich and Frank Harris from Polydeck. We've had a great, very interesting discussion live from the trade show floor at CIM Connect in Montreal. And Sam, Frank, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Roy.
That was
Thanks
a pleasure.
for representing
was
Polydeck so well. And thank you to our audience for another edition of Mining Now.